Well, of course, by now you've read the headlines, but tonight, a perspective perhaps you have not heard from two of the recently fired former Tyson managers of the big Waterloo plant. They were recently fired, as you know, over that alleged COVID-19 betting pool. But former plant manager Tom Hart, speaking for the first time since his firing, and former night manager Don Merschbrock say the stories and the headlines, which so many have portrayed them as being evil, uncaring, and callous, they say those stories are untrue and distorted. The Tyson manager firings indeed brought national headlines. Here are just a few examples. In all, Tyson fired 7 of its Waterloo managers at the plant, which is Tyson's largest, with some 2,800 employees, 1,000 of whom did test positive and 4 died from COVID. The managers, though, were fired over the allegations which came out in a wrongful death lawsuit that they had bet on how many Waterloo Tyson employees would get COVID. 2 of the managers say those headlines are not only false, they don't reflect anything close to the truth. In a Zoom interview for the Steel Report coming up this Sunday morning, former plant manager Tom Hart and former night manager, that is Don Merschbrock, they admit there was a $5 office pool which lasted 10 minutes. They say the pool wasn't at all about betting on how many Tyson plant workers would contract COVID.
Nobody bet on how many team members would become sick. I see that all over every headline of every newspaper. I hear it on the news, and that is inaccurate.
So what it was, we did have a pool, and it was a pool to saying that our results as far as positive cases would be better than the communities. It didn't have nothing to do with how many people got sick or anything. It was just, we thought we did a really good job, and we thought that our positive rate would be better than what was out in the community because of all the mitigations we put forward to keep everybody safe.
Last day of testing, after all the mitigation efforts that we had put in place, we're talking that our positivity rate would be better than the community. And Ron, we did 2 types of testing. We did the virus testing. We did the serology or the antibody testing. What we were focused on is the virus testing, which at that time was better than the community.
Tom Hart worked 26 years for Tyson, starting as a custodian, working his way up to plant manager. He says his team truly respects the employees and believed that their mitigation efforts the managers had put in place would result in a lower infection rate among Tyson employees. He says at the time, no one really knew what they were up against or how serious COVID would actually be. Now watch my complete interview this Sunday morning with the 2 men, the former Tyson managers, 10 o'clock Sunday morning on this week's edition of the Steel Report.
Meanwhile, more than 1,500 new cases of